Because there are just so many great characters in the anime, this will only be focusing on the Generation 1 series. I know I've been talking a lot about the anime recently, but there is no but, I just like talking about the anime. I'm not even watching it, I just enjoy the topic. Anyways, these might be a few mainstream picks as the characters in the beginning of the Pokemon series are pretty popular as we grew up with them. But since that's the case, this top 5 will be more of an analysis of what made these characters great, rather than a real ranking. So let's begin. Also, this is excluding Pokemon and just discussing the characters. Welcome everyone to the top 5 best characters in the Pokémon anime from Generation 1. Number 5, Misty. I was actually gonna put Richie here because he had a cool rivalry with Ash and it was a bit different. Also, it'd be an unexpected character to be on this list, and I do get a little hipster from time to time. But I know there'd be a lot of comments about Misty not being on this list. And to be fair, she's a great character, so both of these trainers deserve this spot. The best part about the original trio was how well everyone worked off one another. You had the dynamics between Misty and Brock with her constantly pulling his ear and keeping him in line. Her dynamic with Ash where they would fight a lot but actually care about one another and really just wanted to see the best out of each other. And then there was Ash and Brock, who were just straight homies. It's always great to see a good bromance. Misty did a lot for the group and ran into a lot of interesting situations. Like that time she made Ash jealous with that vest dude near the ship. Get it? Ship. Because countless numbers of people on the internet pair anime characters together. Check out my top 10 reasons Ash and Misty should date. Misty did a great job of really teaching Ash and introducing him to things that would really help him become a better trainer and a better person. Good job, Misty. You enabled this main character who still didn't replace your bike. That was all Nurse Joy. Number 4, Gary. I mean, it's Gary. I loved Gary so much. He was my favorite character. I don't completely remember why, but maybe it was because he'd leave for most of the series and I have abandonment issues. But see, when he came back, it was always a great time. Even though he picked on Ash and was kinda cocky, and had a group of cheerleaders that he'd rub in his face all the time, they were still both friends who knew they had each other's backs in the end. He just had this persona that he could actually post on YouTube and stream. He was a person that, even if he wasn't the most likable, he'd still be somewhat respected. He had some close moments with Ash, and every time he left, we anticipated his return. Also, he has a crazy cool team. This dude has an Arcanine. Gary was a unique character in that he had a different dynamic with Ash. He was a childhood friend that picked on him, and wasn't the nicest person to be around for Ash. But we knew that when it mattered, Gary would step up and be there for him. Gary was a different kind of friend, but a friend nonetheless. Number 3, Giovanni. I really only put Giovanni ahead of Gary because of how badly he destroyed him in a battle. Like, that deserves one step up on a top 5 list at the very least. Giovanni was a very interesting villain. Most of the series, he was hidden away behind the shadows. He was this eerie person you wanted to get to know, unlike Jesse and James, who were essentially just 15 minutes of filler for every episode. Giovanni was the mastermind behind Team Rocket, and also the owner of the Pokemon theme park that featured many big robotic Pokemon. That was a memorable episode. The fact that Giovanni was hidden for most of the series gave us something to look forward to. There was this evil presence that wasn't fully shown, and we were wondering when we'd finally get to meet the leader. He had an element of surprise, and a feeling that something big was to come. And eventually, we found out he had ties to Mewtwo, a Pokemon that was under his control that he used to whoop any trainer that dare set foot in the Viridian Gym. While this might not be a traditional best character in the anime, Giovanni definitely added a lot to the journey, and a more serious element to Ash's adventures. Number 2, Brock. This is a man who, if he wasn't there throughout the show, being by the side of Ash along his journey, Ash would have probably died. Like, not any of that fake death that they keep doing to Ash in the movies. He would have died for real. Brock cooks, he cleans, he sets up tents. That's a real bro. The best part about Brock is he's a good dynamic for the group. He levels everyone out, and is usually the voice of reason when there's not a new girl around. He also has a fun variety of Pokemon, and even makes jokes.
I know, I'll use my trusty frying pan as a drying pan.
I said he makes jokes, I didn't say they were good. Brock's a real friend that's always there for you, and helps guide you along your way. At least until the end of Season 4 when he just leaves you and you have to work through the self-loathing existential crisis all by yourself. At least he'd probably leave you some rice balls or Sandwiches if you're journeying through the dub. I watch sub because I'm a weeb. Number 1. Ash. It's no surprise that the main character of this series is my number 1 pick. And before you write your comments about how you knew, let's jump into why he's my number 1 best character of the Pokémon anime. It's not just simply that he's the main focus of the anime, but the moments he's brought to us over the years, the fact that he's never given up even though he's gotten absolutely nowhere near his goal of being a Pokémon master, and the fact that he just believed in his Pokémon, that was inspiring. I mean, this is a guy that threw Pikachu at a giant rock snake and believed he could win. I mean, don't get me wrong, you should have learned that ground does not conduct electricity when you were 6, but he still believed in Pikachu. And that's what counts. His journey wasn't about someone who was an expert, slicing his way through battles like an experienced card duelist. He was just a kid messing around and somehow getting gym badges because he made a crazy girl laugh, and evacuated people from a burning building. I mean, I think you get a fireman's badge for that last one, so it's not too far-fetched to get some sort of badge as compensation even though you didn't really win the battle. Ash was just a dumb kid figuring things out about himself with his friends as he journeyed throughout different regions and pretty much just winged it anytime he was faced with a problem. He faced adversity, new challenges, 2 people that kept trying to steal his Pokemon, but he also made new friends along the way and inspired those who watched him. Because if a guy could get lucky enough that Giovanni leaves Jesse and James in charge of a gym so he doesn't have to fight a Mewtwo, then there's nothing that's impossible for the rest of us. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Really hope you enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun writing it, so if you enjoyed, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to see more. Let me know which characters from the anime you liked most in the comments below. And until next time, keep on catching!